Are you curious how Profit First is used in a business? It's a cash management system. It's based on the old school envelope method that was, something that my family's used back in the day. And nowadays, actually, I see a lot of it. It's called cash stuffing now, but I see a lot of videos about that on the personal finance side. But in your business, we call it Profit First. And instead of using actual envelopes, we use bank accounts. And each bank account, same thing, as whereas each envelope had a purpose, each bank account you set up has a purpose. And the bank accounts that I have set up in my business are an income account, a profit account, owner's pay, which is how much I pay my salary to run my business, tax account, which is how much I set aside to pay my tax bill when it's due. So I never have a problem paying my tax bill. And then what's left is to pay my operating expenses. And then I have an extra account for my mastermind. So as part of, I'm a certified profit professional, I'm in the mastery level. So I owe dues to be part of that group. Plus my group meets twice a year for in-person meetings. And so I have travel costs associated with those out of town events. So I have a bank account set up to where I set aside money to make sure that that bill is paid. And so to show you how allocations work, and allocations, what that means is it's the process of taking money that has come into your business and you're going to transfer it to the different bank accounts so that then those bank accounts you can then have the money is already set aside, it's earmarked, it becomes your budget for what you can spend on different things. So I did an instant assessment, which is talked about in the book. It'll be a whole other video, but my current allocations are this. So I'm going to, of all the money that comes in, doesn't matter what the dollar amount is, whatever the dollar amount is, I'm going to put 4% into my profit account. That is my reward as being the owner of a business. I'm going to put 47% in my owner's comp account to pay my salary, my W-2 wages. My business is taxes and S Corp, so I get a W-2 paycheck. My tax account, I'm going to put 9% away. OPEX will be 33%, and my mastermind is 7%. Now, the OPEX for 33%, that is my budget. That's my operating budget for my business. I have to live within and run my business based on that 33%. That's just how it works. If I want to be able to pay myself a reasonable and affordable like wage to manage my household expenses, my personal life, then I need to manage my business on 33% of my operating, like my operating expenses needs to be 33% of my money coming in. Okay. So just to show you, to illustrate how this works, here are what my bank account balances were before any allocations are made. So I do allocations once a week, every Monday morning. So my profit account has 474.51. That represents, this is the last week of June. And every calendar quarter, I do a profit distribution. And so June 30th, I took money out. So that 474 is the 4% that has come in that has been allocated to the profit account for the last 4 weeks. My owner's comp account, 74.33.99. That account goes up and down constantly because, so the profit account, I should say, it builds it for a quarter, for 90 days, 13 weeks, drops down, builds back up. And that just keeps going in that pattern. The owner's comp account, though, goes up, and then down because I pay myself every other Friday for my W-2 paycheck. And then it starts to build again, goes down, goes up again, depending, though, on how my business is doing. So my income is not fixed. I don't get the same amount in my business every week. So if I'm working, and I get lots of money, the owner's comp account builds up. And then the money's sitting there. So I can still pay myself my fixed wages every other Friday. Okay. And when I'm not working so much, like over the summer, I tend to work less so that I can be at home with my kids. So the account gets drained a little bit, but it never goes to zero. There's always money in there to be able to pay my W-2 paycheck. My tax account will be the same as my profit, where it builds, and then I make a quarterly payment, right? And it doesn't really drop to zero, but it drops down. And then I make, the next quarterly payment, and it goes up and it goes down. Okay. OPEX, that's constantly going up and down. I put money in it, pay my bills, it goes down. Put more money in it, pay bills, it goes down. My mastermind account is consistent with my OPEX account, where it goes up and down because I pay monthly dues. It'll build down at the end of the month, build down. But it's still kind of an upward trend until I have my when we do our retreats twice a year. That usually gets it closer to zero when I pay the bill for my travel. So last week I had $5,987 in deposits come into my income account. So that's how much we're going to allocate. We're going to transfer, put the money into the different bank accounts to serve their purpose. So how does this work? So it works by taking 5,987, which is my income, and multiplying it by the current percentage. So I'm going to transfer $239.48 to my profit account, and then see how my bank account went from 474 to 713. Okay. So what's going to happen here? My owner's comp account, 2813 is going to go into that account. And I'm going to set aside almost almost $540 into my tax account. So see how my tax account's getting built up? So almost 2,000 is going to go into my OPEX account, which is good because I've got a credit card bill due. I think I pay my rent with check and then some random expenses with checks. But for the most part, what I do is, because I get cash back on my credit card, I have two business credit cards. One's cash back and one's points. I hardly ever use the one with points. But the cash back one I use a lot. I try to put everything on there so I get cash back because it's 2 to 4% depending on what I'm buying. So I've got a credit card payment due. So this account, even though it's 11,000, which is amazing right now, it's going to drop because I've got bills to pay. So as you can see here on my totals, so I had 23,000 in my bank accounts before, not including the income account. I added the new income of 5987, so now I have 475. Hopefully this shows you how this is going to work. And I'm going to start a series of videos where I'm going to show you this on a continuous basis. So I'll have another video to show you that I've paid bills, how these get adjusted, and then we're going to keep building. And hopefully this will show you a better way. But the idea that really a lot of people struggle with is this part. I find that a lot of people that I talk to, a lot of business owners that I talk to, want to run their business on this number, the 5,987, the money that has come in to their business. The problem is they're not thinking about, oh my gosh, I need to reward myself as a business owner. I need to pay myself a reasonable salary to run the business. And I need to set aside for taxes because the business is generating a tax bill for me. Okay. I know some people think that's bad and it's not, but there's a tax bill being created, and that's a whole separate discussion. I'm happy to talk about that in another video, but you really need, out of the money that has come in, you need to take out this money. You need to pay yourself first, cover your tax bill, run the business on what's left of the income. So run the business on this operating expense. This operating expenses, this represents office rent. It represents your office supplies, your internet bill, your cell phone bill, if that's how you get calls from clients, new computers if you need it. I've got a subscription to Loom. That's how I'm recording this video. Any paid advertising that you do, all of that money, those are operating expenses. That is going to be paid with money that I allocate to this bank account. That's what I'm going to live on. You want to learn more? Follow me.